Welcome to a story that digs deep into truth, pain, and courage. Set in the heart of modern-day America, this tale reveals how silence can protect power and how one voice, brave enough to rise, can shake a community to its core. This is The Color of Silence. Atlanta, a city wrapped in layers, steel towers and jazz nights, protests and poetry. In the heart of this bustling southern place lived a boy who knew how to be invisible. Aiden Brooks, 17, walked the halls of Jefferson High like a shadow. He kept his hoodie low, his voice softer than the shuffle of sneakers in a crowded corridor. In a school where he was one of the few black students, silence was his armor. He lived with Mama Ruth, his grandmother, in a faded blue house that smelled like cinnamon and old books. She often said, "The world ain't kind to boys who speak too soon. Watch, listen, and speak when it counts." Aiden did just that. He watched the world from the back of the class. He listened to the way teachers praised some kids and ignored others. And when he needed to say something, he wrote poetry, thoughts, truths too dangerous to say out loud. But some days, the world forces your voice out of hiding. It was a Tuesday when the storm began. Chase Miller, star quarterback and local Golden Boy, claimed his phone had been stolen. He said he left it on the gym bleachers, turned around, and it was gone. Aiden had been near the area, stretching after gym. Chase pointed, said he looked suspicious. That was enough. The school called Aiden to the office. The vice principal, Mr. Lewis, didn't ask questions. He delivered consequences. "We can't prove anything," he said, tapping his desk. "But it would help if you just apologized. Let's keep things peaceful." Peaceful. Aiden sat still, silent. His fingers gripped the chair's edge, knuckles white. He hadn't touched anyone's phone. But in this office, his truth didn't matter. His skin already spoke louder than words. At home, Mama Ruth listened as he explained. She didn't flinch. "Baby, the world has a script for boys like you, but we don't have to read it." She pulled him into her arms and hummed an old tune from her youth. Aiden didn't sleep that night. He wrote instead. He poured it all out in a poem and posted it online anonymously. "You saw my skin before my soul. You heard my silence, but never my no. I stood still, and still, you feared me. I stayed quiet, and still, you blamed me. But what if the silence screams? What if the shadow sings?" By morning, the poem had spread across phones like wildfire. Students shared it. Some nodded in quiet agreement. Others dismissed it. The administration panicked. 2 days later, Aiden was suspended for creating division. The official note called it social disruption. Ms. Carter, his English teacher, asked him privately if he was the writer. He said nothing, but she saw the fire in his eyes. "You have a gift," she said. "Don't let fear swallow your words." Ms. Carter decided to organize a poetry night. Voices uncaged. It would be open to students, faculty, and families. She invited Aiden to perform. At first, he refused. The wound was too fresh. The risk was too big. But something inside him stirred. Maybe it was Mama Ruth's quiet nod, or the burning truth sitting in his chest like coal waiting for air. Aiden agreed. The night of the event, the school gym pulsed with electricity. Students packed the bleachers. Parents filled folding chairs. Even a few reporters lined the walls. One by one, students read poems. Laughter, snaps, claps. Then Aiden took the stage. He stood under the spotlight, trembling, but his voice didn't shake. "They called me quiet, said I was calm, but silence is not peace. It's a cage with padded walls. You feared the fire in my skin before you ever saw my flame. You gave me your script, but I'm writing my name. I will not apologize for standing still. I will not bow to comfort your guilt. I will speak, even if my voice breaks in the wind, because the color of silence is the shade they paint sin." There was a long pause when he finished. Then, applause. It rolled through the gym like thunder. Some parents stood and clapped. Others left quietly. Chase walked out, red-faced. But Ms. Carter smiled. Mama Ruth clapped the hardest. That night changed everything. The school board launched an equity review. Ms. Carter was nearly fired but kept her job after local protests. Aiden's poem was reprinted in the Atlanta Journal. Colleges reached out. Scholarships followed. Still, Aiden remained humble. His voice, once hidden, had risen not just for himself, but for every student who had ever swallowed injustice. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low and painted the school in gold, Aiden stood outside with Mama Ruth. "You didn't just raise your voice, baby," she said, patting his back. "You raised the roof." He smiled. "I guess silence has a sound after all." If you've been moved by Aiden's story, don't keep silent. Share this. Talk about it. Remember, stories are how we break the silence, one voice at a time. Subscribe for more stories that speak when the world won't.